Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce. Today we begin the book of 1 Peter. There's not a lot of certainty about the origins of this epistle. It's generally accepted that Simon Peter, one of Jesus' 12 disciples, was the author, and he wrote it somewhere in the early 60s AD. From the first verse, we see that it was written to Christians in the northern half of our modern-day Turkey. The language of the letter shows that it was written to both Jewish and Gentile believers. Babylon is mentioned in chapter 5, verse 13, which leads many scholars to believe that Peter wrote this letter from the city of Rome. Babylon was code for Rome. The name Silvanus appears toward the end of the letter. This is a lengthened version of the name Silas. It's quite possible that Silas, who was Paul's traveling companion on his missionary journeys, was Peter's amanuensis, his secretary, in writing this epistle. This is a letter of encouragement in the face of present and coming persecution. Chapter 1 begins with Peter praising God for salvation through Jesus Christ and for the promise of the future resurrection of all who have faith in Jesus as their Savior and their Lord. Peter then commends his readers for their faith in Jesus. Because God is faithful to His Word, Peter tells his readers that they need to be thinking clearly. He uses the phrase, gird up the loins of your mind. That's kind of a funny phrase. To gird up your loins meant to take your robes, as people wore back in those days, and to tuck it in your belt so that you could move more freely. I'm reminded of Elijah at the end of 1 Kings chapter 18, after he had defeated the prophets of Baal. And Ahab had taken off, and the writer of 1 Kings in verse 46 writes, "Then the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel." So it's this idea of being able to deal with any circumstance that comes along because your mind is fully engaged. With this, you can live holy even in the midst of trying times. Don't ever forget this. God has had His plan in place all along, since the foundation of the universe. He is going to fulfill it. So don't let situations distract you from the mission to which He's called you. God bless you as you go.